my name's Hillary. Welcome to my channel, Stitches and Sprinkles, where I talk about mostly sewing, but equal opportunity for all of my crafty obsessions. I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance because I have a very needy kitty cat who is probably going to jump in my lap or on top of my fabric at some point during this podcast. His name is Linus, and you will almost certainly meet him in the next several minutes. But while he is giving me a moment, let's jump right in. What I'm wearing. So today I am wearing my Closet Core Cielo skirt. This is the wrap view in a really lovely, and here's Linus, a really lovely burgundy jacquard fabric that I got from Blackbird Fabrics a few months ago. The Cielo is one of my favorite breezy summer skirts. It's really hot here in Georgia right now. It's very humid, and it just allows for a nice look while still being cool. I've also got on my Seamwork Audrey jacket, and it's really just because I have a ready-to-wear black camisole underneath, and I wanted to look smart for you guys. So I've got my Seamwork Audrey on, and I did a size 16 in the curvy block. Fits really, really well. Just had to take a little bit of extra out of the sleeves to get the look that I wanted. So that's what I'm wearing. And I do have a really fun collection of pins that I like to wear on my denim jackets. So if you're curious, drop me a note below and I'll send you some links or tell you more about my pins. I love collecting pins from different knitting shops and cities that I visit and adding them to my jackets and book bags and the like. So on to the next. My finished objects for this video, I've got, one is a pillowcase. So I teach at a local shop here where I live called Spool School. And hi, Jamie, if you're watching. And I had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to teach an intro to quilting class for a couple of ladies at the shop. So we used our time together to perfect our half square triangles. They were really interested in getting more precise and making sure that their points aligned as they as they pieced their blocks and then created their top. So we all made pillowcases, and this fabric comes from one of my awesome quilty friends, Michelle. Her Instagram is Meesh Quilts, Meesh. You should definitely go check her out. She always has the best and latest prints, and she gets the most deliciously soft cottons. She's got lots of Ruby Star, lots of cotton and steel, lots of Robert Kaufman and the window pane collection. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I definitely recommend you check this out. I'm going to use this pillow cover for my daughter's bedroom because she's obsessed with animals. And if you can't see all too well, it's there, you can see, I think it's got little tigers and lions, and she'll like that for her reading chair, for her reading nook. So that's the first thing that I've made over the last week or so. The next thing that I wanted to show you today, and I will do my very, very best to plug in a picture of me wearing this dress, but first I'll talk to you about the fabric. This is an Eco Vero, let me get this right, Garden Blooms Lensing Eco Vero, and it's a twill. And this is from Blackbird Fabrics. This was in their spring drop. So I got this back in March. I don't think they have any yardage left anymore. If they do, I'll definitely link it below. But basically anytime Blackbird Fabrics has a Eco Vero twill drop, especially in their exclusive prints, I snag it because the colors are amazing, and I love working with Eco Vero twill. It's really perfect, really dynamic and appropriate for all sorts of weather. So, and this is obviously the Davenport dress. I love this dress. It was really, really fun to make. I enjoyed the construction detail of having this little bit of elastic here it makes it gather really nicely over the bust without having to do too much shaping. And then of course the frill on the sleeve cap is wonderful, and it looks really nice when I wear it and steam it, and it kind of adds a dainty detail. And then I also really like the ruffle and the drawstring that you get with the Davenport dress. So this was my first time making the Davenport. Sizing was very straightforward, no big fitting challenges, and I definitely highly recommend it. It's very impressive looking pattern and construction, but if you just take it one step at a time, it's not really gonna trip you up or cause you any too many challenges. So, and the other thing that I just finished, let me go grab that. So the other item that I just finished is a Tilly and the Buttons Lyra. This is it's kind of a cedar wood color, tencel twill. I did get this at fabric.com. As I said many moons ago in my last video, I like to get my muslin, my wearable muslin fabric from fabric.com sometimes, just so I'm not cutting into something that's quite as expensive when I'm trying a pattern for the first time and a designer for the first time, because if you can believe it, I had never sewn a Tilly and the Buttons pattern until the Lyra, but one of my favorite sewing vloggers, Liz, over at The Baker That Sews, talks about the Lyra and the indigo constantly, and I had to try it out for myself. So this is my Lyra. I am doing some resin cast buttons with gold leaf in them just to add a little zing. So I do still need to put the buttons on this, but I did the short sleeve version and I did the knee length version. I was still able to include the pockets with the amount of fabric that I had. And then I also added let's see if you can see that, Kylie and the Machine Perfectly Imperfect label, because that's exactly what it is. I had to cut the collar twice or 3 times, I can't remember, because this tencel twill wanted to, when you cut it on the bias, it wants to just stretch out, and Linus is on my computer. So I had to cut this collar like 3 times because it just wanted to stretch to infinity and beyond. So, but that's okay because we got there. And that's why it was, sorry, my notes fell. That's why it was such a miracle that I actually had enough fabric to make the pockets on that dress after cutting the collar 3 times. I think I cut the top collar twice and the bottom collar 3 times. Anyway, I digress. The next thing that I was going to tell you all about is my most recent, actually, let me tell you about my whips first. So, my first whip is a pair of pajama pants. Yes, I will not be able to wear these pajama pants until like October because it's just too stiflingly hot in the evening still. However, I got this beautiful sage and gray flannel check fabric from Core Fabrics, and I'm really pining for cooler weather, so I thought I would just sew it up and pretend that it's cool outside and I can be cozy. So I'm making a pair of, it's the View A from the Closet Core Carolyn pajamas. No piping, no frills, just a nice tried and true pajama pant. It's got great pockets if you've never made the Carolyn. I love those pockets. And I love my summer version, so I wanted to have a cooler weather version ready to go when that gets here, and I hope it gets here ASAP, although it's going to be at least a couple more months because it's only July. My other whip is heavy and big, so just one second. Other whip is the Kelly Anorak, and if you haven't noticed, I do really enjoy Closet Core patterns. So there are a lot of Closet Core patterns in my wardrobe, in my stash, in my to be made, to be sewn plans. But this is the Closet Core Kelly Anorak. This is the hooded view with the waist drawstring, and I haven't put the snaps on the pocket yet, but This waxed canvas is from Blackbird Fabrics. I got it a while back. I don't think they have this anymore. And then my lining fabric is really nice rayon blend from Atlanta Sewing Center. Hi guys, if you're watching, all my buddies at Atlanta Sewing Center. So I just chose this really fun white and blue check to kind of give it a bit of a nautical, maritime kind of look with the yellow and blue. So this has been in my closet for a couple weeks, more than that. It's been in my closet for a while now because there's hand sewing to do, and like a lot of you can probably relate to, I don't enjoy doing hand sewing as much as I enjoy doing machine sewing, but I really want this coat to be finished. And again, it's too hot right now. There's no way in the world I could wear this. I would suffocate even if it did rain, but I want to have it ready for the fall when we start to get our nice fall showers here. So I am holding myself accountable to actually being able to show you this finished with the labels sewn in and everything like that. So this is my accountability check to myself, as much as to share with you all what I've been doing. Those are my 2 works in progress. I did also just finish a shop sample for a class that I'm going to be teaching at Atlanta Sewing Center. I did the Liesel & Co. Verdun t-shirt, and I'd never sewn a Liesel & Co. pattern before. I used a Cloud9 rayon from Atlanta Sewing Center, and I will say the directions were great from Liesel & Co., and the Cloud9 rayon was really, really nice to work with. I'll try to plug in a picture here if I can find one with good lighting. It was a little bit hard to photograph because it's a really fun print. It's beautiful in person, very hard to capture in a photo. So I'll try to find a photo that does it justice though, so that I can show you guys. And I'll link that fabric at Atlanta, or I'll link Atlanta Sewing Center below so that if anyone is local, you can keep an eye out for my class to be scheduled. Okay. So now I will tell you about my most recent order from Core Fabrics. I talked about them last time, but it's the fabric store associated with Heather Lou and the Closet Core team, and I just love it. Their sensibility is amazing. They always have the most wonderful fabric. They offer really, really generous sales and opportunities to get some things that you might not otherwise be able to spend towards, but it's totally worth it. I would much rather, I'm a quality over quantity fabric shopper now. I'm a convert, so there you go. So the first thing is something that I've wanted in my tool belt for a while. It's a Taylor's, it's a clapper, and it's really cute because they had Press to Impress put into it, and I just thought that was too adorable. So I added my clapper to my collection, which I'm really excited about because one of my goals this fall is to make the Jessica blazer from Closet Core, and I got a really, really wonderful black and gold metallic jacquard. I want to kind of do something snazzier that I can wear, dress it up, dress it down, make it cool, make it business. So I'm excited to do that, and I've also got a toile of that going up in some really ancient fabric from my stash. I'll show you guys that next time. It's actually, when I looked at the tag, I think I bought it in 2011. It's really, yeah. We won't talk about that. It's okay. So the other things that I got from Core this time were some prints. I have noticed that I tend to buy solid fabrics because they're easy. And if it's solid and relatively neutral, then, or in my color palette, then it's really, really easy for me to get dressed. But I'm also somebody who really enjoys pattern and color and playfulness, and I have a young daughter, and I love to use my offcuts to make her little matchy-matchy things, whether it's a tank top or just a headband or something like that, and it's really fun for us. We like to dress together. So One of the things that I wanted to do with my wardrobe over the next several months is add some pattern so that I can play and have fun. And my full-time job is all work from home now, so I have a little bit more flexibility, and that's a wonderful thing. And I can be very expressive in the way that I dress, and my company is very supportive, so I'm very, very fortunate in that way. But anyway, I digress. So the first fabric that I got is, it's called the Summer Frolic Print Eco Vero Rayon Challis. And my plan for this is actually just a little tank top. I want to do the Helen's Closet Reynolds tank top so that it really shows off this print. It's beautiful. It's ladies swimming and doing kind of summer activities and just in movement, and I thought it was really neat. And the hand of this fabric is wonderful. It's cool, it's light, it's got great body and movement, so I'm really excited to work with this and add it to my wardrobe. And it's got that little red, white, and blue nod, so it's very classic, and I think it'll be fun just to wear with a pair of jeans or some little shorts and on a really hot day, and appreciate kind of something a little bit fun and silly. The next two fabrics I got with a little bit of a crazy plan in mind. So, like I said before, I hear Liz talk about Tilly and the Buttons, and especially the indigo, constantly. And she always looks so beautiful in her indigos. And they look super comfortable as well. And that's important to me. You're never going to find me in something that I don't find super duper comfortable. That's why there's a lot of skirts and dresses around here. So I saw these two fabrics. So it's the same colors, but they're in a different scale. It's lavender and lime. And I don't know if you just saw Linus try to bat this fabric tag, but if he hurts my fabric, he's going to be in big trouble, mister. So these are the oval doodle print cotton poplin and the mini polka dot print Eco Vero Rayon Challis. And Linus is trying to get in the way again. But anyway, forgive me, I'm trying to hold the computer to make sure he doesn't knock it over. I want to do an indigo with different, I'm going to do the midi. And I'm going to do the flutter sleeve. So I want to do different sections of the dress and the different scaled prints and kind of mix it up a little bit and make it really visually interesting. This cat, y'all, I love him very much. We've had him for about a month, but he tries to stick his nose in my straight pin dishes. And one day I caught him with a pin in his mouth, and I don't know what's wrong with this cat. I love him. He's very sweet and very cuddly. Anywho, so color blocked of sort, but kind of more print mix. Tilly and the Buttons indigo for these two. And even though one is a cotton poplin and one is a rayon challis, they are almost identical in terms of grams per square meter. So the weight and the hand are almost the same. I am going to test a little bit before I go full bore, because if worse comes to worse and they are not mixable, then I have enough to make two separate garments. I have 2 yards of each. So worst case scenario, I'll get a lovely blouse out of each one, but I really would love to see them together and see my dreams become reality. Let me set these aside in a place where Linus can't get them. Okay, two more lovely, lovely prints to show you. So the next one is the illustrated wild floral print, and it is a viscose. And I got 2.5 yards. Can you see it a little bit better? I got 2.5 yards of this with the vision to create a deer and doe orchidee or orchidee, depending on how you want to say it, blouse. So I'll try to stick a line drawing in here for those of you who may not be familiar with this pattern. I've not made it before. It's totally up my alley. It is cinched in just below the bust, so right around your natural waist. And then it flows away from your body towards your hips. So that's something that I enjoy. It's something that makes me feel good, that particular fit. It's also got bridle buttons down the front of it, so it's just really delicate, feminine, flowy, fluttery sleeves. And I thought a nice, dainty floral print would be really lovely in that. I am going to toile that blouse before I work on it. I haven't even washed these fabrics yet, so that's fine. I'm not tempted to just cut straight into it at all. I'm going to toile that blouse because Deer and Doe is wonderful. It is European sizing, so it is a little bit different than what I'm used to, and I do usually have to grade. When I made the Sirocco, I had to grade between the waist out in my hip a little bit. That's not going to be an issue so much for this particular pattern, but I just want to check and make sure I get a good fit in the bust and shoulders so that it's really flattering and comfortable, and it's not gaping away from my bust and making me feel self-conscious. So muslining is always worth it. I will get some less expensive fabric to do that. And last but not least, this is the Ditzy Watercolor Animal Print Rayon Challis. And it's got blues, mauve, white. It's very beautiful. And I admired this fabric for a really, really long time before I actually took the plunge on it, and I'm so glad that they still had some in stock. It is one of the things that surprised me when I got this fabric was the weight of it. I expected it to be lighter and flowier. It is 125 grams per square meter, and I guess I didn't read the weight. I read Rayon Challis and I thought, oh, it'll have a similar hand to the last couple fabrics that I talked about, the polka dot Rayon Challis. But it is lighter, and I mean, it's heavier, and I actually kind of like that because it means it's going to be a good 3-season top for me rather than just more appropriate for late spring and summer. And I don't put clothes away from season to season. I layer up, and I put, vest tops or camisoles, whatever you want to call, under things, and wear sweaters. And so I'm excited. And I want a little bit more blue and white in my wardrobe. So this was a nice way to inject that and with a fun print. And yes, so that is my most recent core fabric order. I do have a really big Blackbird order coming. Oops. What are you going to do? I do have a big Blackbird order coming, and that will probably be a haul video in and of itself because I think I got 10 different fabrics, maybe 12. But I have plans for all of them. They're all already listed in my sewing journal, and I can talk about that in a later episode if anyone's interested in knowing how I set up my sewing journal, how I use that to keep myself on track and to try to sew through my stash. My stash is not that big. I do have a reasonable amount, but most of it is already designated with a plan to it. So it's not like a whole bunch of things are just hanging out with no destiny. Yeah. So 2 more things to tell you about. Next is what I'm sewing this week. So as I said, I'm working on the Closet Core Carolyn pajama pants. That will be relatively quick. It's like I've got the pockets attached to the front legs, and that's probably one of the hardest parts aside from the faux fly. So I will have time to do other things this week. And one of those things that I want to work on is another Cielo dress. So Closet Core Cielo dress. So I did the Linus is in the shelf. Last cielo that I made was the view without the apron pockets and with the big lantern sleeves. And this is a Fabulism Sprouts woven. And it's not going to show up super well, but it has little kind of checks to it. Oh, there, I think you can see it okay there. It's really, really lovely, high quality woven. I purchased this at String and Story on Main. I encourage you to look at String and Story, especially if you are into quilting as well. Holly Ann and her team have the most beautiful collection of quilting fabrics. They really, really do. And they're just awesome people. If you don't follow Holly Ann and you like quilting and you want to learn more about quilting, she's your girl. 100%. So I bought this at their store opening weekend actually, and this is the colorway Mallard. And I plan to make a short sleeve cielo with the apron pockets in the dress as a nice light summer dress. And I'm very excited about that also. Linus is up to no good today. Anyway. Okay, and then I'm planning to work on, once I get that muslin of the orchidee top done, I also have this Playful Shapes Eco Vero Challis from Blackbird Fabrics also. This is another one that I got back in March when their spring prints dropped. It's so lovely, guys. It's not just black and white. It's really black and kind of a stone color. So it's less harsh. It's a little bit more organic looking to me. And not in that sense, but in like, it's not as stark of a contrast as a true bright white and black would be. And I like that against my skin tone. I think that's more flattering on me than just straight up black and white. So I'm excited to make that into the orchidee dress rather than the blouse, and then have another flowy dress that can really go from dressy to casual depending on what shoes and how I do my hair and my makeup and all that good stuff. So that's the last of the sewing chat. I do have two more things to show you, and then one more thing to talk to you about. What I'm loving. So what I'm loving right now. Last week I went to McKinney, Texas for work. And I had the opportunity after my meetings were done to go over to McKinney Knittery and visit. And if you are also a knitter or a crocheter, or even if you know them from their downtown dry goods section where they do have fabric and the like, McKinney Knittery is one of the most welcoming, most beautiful spaces that I've ever been in. I will tag them below just in case you're not familiar and you have a little bit of difficulty finding them. And while I was there, I picked up this Illimani Sabri or Sabri. I'm not sure how you say it. But it is a 85% organic cotton, 15% baby alpaca. It's 437 yards, so it's a fingering weight. And it is so beautiful. It's the most lovely color. It's so soft. It's so squishy. I don't normally knit with cotton. I'm a wool person. However, again, need to stop complaining. But it's hot here. And when it is, you can't wear wool in Georgia in the summer. You'll die. So I wanted something that I could actually enjoy in the warmer months when I missed my sweaters. And I am either going to do the Jessie Made Outline Tank or possibly the George's Tank, which just came out. And forgive me, I do not know who designed that. I will try to drop the name here so that you can look it up if you're also interested. And I also picked up this really cute stitch marker. And this one too, to use while I knit with that Illimani Sabri. The lady that works at the shop was telling me that it's dyed in Italy and then sold out of Canada. And I had never seen it, never heard of it before. Really lovely yarn, very excited about working with it. Don't have any bamboo needles, so I'm going to try it with my regular ChowGoo stainless steel needles, but may or may not work, so we'll see. I've already put the Licca blush needles on my Christmas list for this year. What else I'm loving? I'm loving wool pressing mats. So I recently got a set of these from Amazon. This small one, it's about 10 by 10. Then I got another one that's about 22 by 30 or so for bigger pieces. Really nice, gives you a really great press, helps you avoid all the things. It's the same principle as a pressing cloth in my mind. Maybe that's not technically correct, but to me it makes sense, I think. But yeah, wool pressing mat. If you don't have it, try it. It wasn't that expensive. I got it on Amazon. I am also trying to get away from Amazon, but it happens sometimes, so forgive me. The last thing is what I'm watching and what I'm reading. So I'm rewatching the first season of Only Murders in the Building because the second season just came out and I really, really loved it, but I wanted to refresh myself because it had been a bit of time since I watched season 1. So I'm rewatching Only Murders in the Building. Love it. So good. Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez. Wonderful trio. And then I'm reading 2 Sarah J. Maas books at once. So I am physically reading the second Crescent City book, and I am listening to A Court of Mist and Fury, which is the second Court of Thorns and Roses book. Definitely more into Crescent City than Court of Thorns and Roses, unpopular opinion. However, I like Bryce better than I like Feyre. And Sarah J. Maas's writing is more my style in Crescent City. It's a little bit better to me. So, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for sticking with me. If you've stuck with me this long, I hope that I have been nice background noise to knitting or sewing or hanging out or whatever it is that you're getting up to. I hope that you stay safe. I hope that you find time for creativity this week. And I hope that your pets are not as annoying as mine. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye!